to Culinary Math, Chapter 11. In Chapter 10, we went over edible portion costs and how to calculate edible portion cost, and it all culminates with Chapter 11 and costing out complete recipes. Now, this is a generic recipe costing form, and if you notice, it looks very similar to the worksheets that were used in Chapter 10 to help calculate edible portion cost. Now we're going to use these blank forms to calculate a complete recipe cost. And then from there we can use that to calculate a cost per portion and ultimately a selling price. Okay? So with your recipes, you're going to fill in all the relevant information, what the menu item is, the number of portions, the portion size. The date is important because prices are constantly changing. Knowing when the last time that a recipe cost was updated can be important, so that you can say if it was the recipe was last cost out over a year ago, it's probably time to update the pricing on those ingredients. All right, so we're going to do a sample recipe cost for this menu item. It's a wild mushroom and nut pie. And all right, so we see we have the number of portions, right? So there's several ways we could calculate a cost per portion depending on how we were selling this. But for the purpose of this, we've got this recipe makes 2 pies, 8 slices each, right? So it makes a total of 16 slices. Serving size is 1 slice. All right, and again, we would normally just fill in the date here. I've got a food cost percentage that's going to help me calculate the selling price once we get the ingredients cost out. All right, so again, you want to make this so if you recall a couple of the formulas, the finding the total cost, it's the recipe quantity times your edible portion cost equals your total cost. And the other thing that we're going to need to do is those items that have less than 100% yield, right, as purchase cost divided by yield percentage equals my edible portion cost. All right, so we're going to start out with this first item, the dried seeps, which are a type of wild mushroom. So number of units in ounces, cost per unit is in ounces with 100% yield. So what I like to do is I just like to get in the habit of making sure that all of my calculations are in this EPC per unit column. So there's no conversions to do here. It's ounces in ounces. It's 100% yield. So it's $2.07 per ounce. $2.07 per ounce times 3/4 of an ounce equals $1.56 when I round up to the penny. When you're doing all the preliminary calculations with the costing, you want to keep all of those decimals in your calculator as accurate as possible, carrying them out 3, 4, 5 decimal places. You can round to the penny once you do the final total cost for each ingredient. Dried morels, similar to the seeps, 3/4 of an ounce. It's $4.31 an ounce with 100% yield. So it's still $4.31 an ounce times 3/4 of an ounce gives me a total cost of $3.24 when I round it up. The almonds, 7 ounces of almonds. The cost is $2.59 a pound. Right now I have a conflict here. I've got pounds, I've got ounces. All right, so I'm going to need to take that $2.59 per pound and divide it by 16 ounces to get a cost per ounce. $2.59 divided by 16 ounces equals, with 100% yield, 0.1618 per ounce times 7 ounces gives me $1.14 when I round it up. Cashews, exactly the same. Ounces, pounds, I need to divide this by 16 ounces. It's 100% yield. I get a cost, EPC cost of 0.236 per ounce times 2.5 ounces, the total cost of 60 cents. The butter. All right, now we've got a little bit more conflict here. All right, we've got tablespoons. All right, so we've got a volume measure and we have a weight cost. And we see over here that 1 cup equals 8 ounces. All right, so butter is a water-like substance. All right, 2 tablespoons is also 1 fluid ounce, and because it's a water-like substance, it weighs 1 ounce. All right, so 1 ounce is my new unit of measure. I don't need the 2 tablespoons. I'm still going to divide this by 16 ounces with 100% yield, and I get a cost per ounce 0.166 per ounce. Cost per ounce times ounces, 17 cents for the butter. All right, moving down to the onions. 6.5 ounces of onions, it's 20 cents per pound. And this one is the first one that has a less than 100% yield. All right, cost per pound. I'm going to divide by 16 ounces so I can get my cost per ounce. And I will say that when you're doing these recipe cost forms, space becomes an issue. So having a piece of, can be helpful, have a piece of scratch paper to do some of your calculations on. We need to be able to keep track of everything. All right, so 20 cents an ounce, 20 cents a pound divided by 16 ounces gives me a cost per ounce of 0.0125 per ounce. And I'm going to continue on with the calculator. I've got that number in my calculator, 0.0125 divided by 89 cents, or 0.89. And it gives me, bumps it up a little bit. I've got 0.014 cents per ounce. Ounces, cost per ounce, ounces in my recipe, 0.014 times 6.5, 10 cents for the onion when I round up. Garlic, right? It's measured in tablespoons, volume, purchased by weight, right? I need to get this tablespoons into ounces. And how am I going to do that? Well, I know that 1 cup weighs 4.6 ounces. All right, so I'm going to pull this off to the side here. And use a bridge method to do that out. All right, so I'm trying to convert 1 tablespoon of garlic. I know that there are 16 tablespoons in 1 cup. I know that 1 cup is 4.6 ounces. It's 4.6 over 16. When I divide that out, I get 0.2875 ounces. All right, so back on my recipe here, onto the garlic, I'm going to replace the tablespoon with 0.2875 ounces. I don't need that anymore. $1.73 per pound Again, I'm going to divide that by 16 ounces. You get 0.108 per ounce. Divide that by 0.87, 87%. It bumps it up a little bit. 0.012 per ounce times 0.2875 ounces, 4 cents for the garlic. Mushrooms. I'm back to weight here. Ounces, pounds with a yield percent. Just going to divide by 16 to get my cost per ounce, which is 0.0906 per ounce. Divided by 97%, 0.97 is 0.093 per ounce. Ounces multiplied together, 75 cents for the mushrooms. All right, the next one, parsley. Parsley gets a little bit complicated. It's going to be similar to the garlic. All right, so I've got a couple of pieces of information here that I'm going to need to tap into. One is going to be in regards to the first one here. My volume to weight is going to be for my conversion here. And the second piece of data is going to be helpful when I go to calculate the cost per ounce. So I'm going to have to do a little work on both of them. All right, so 2 tablespoons. Two tablespoons of parsley. I'm getting into the camera here. All right. I know there's 16 tablespoons in 1 cup. And I know that 1 cup weighs 1 ounce, which gives me 2 over 16, which is 0.125. So my parsley, 2 tablespoons of parsley weighs 0.125 ounces. Tablespoons goes away. Parsley is 49 cents a bunch. 1 bunch weighs 0.33 pounds. All right, so I'm going to take 49 cents a bunch and divide it by 0.33. All right, and that's going to give me my cost per pound, which is 1.4848 per pound. I'm going to divide that by 16, which is going to give me 0.0928 per ounce. Divide that by 76%, 0.76, which is 0.122 per ounce. 0.122 cents per ounce times 0.125 ounces equals slightly over a penny, but we round up to 2 cents. It's a lot of work for 2 cents. That is about as complex and complicated as costing can get, and you're gonna often find that with herbs and spices. Herbs and spices costing out because you use them such small amounts. You end up with a lot of multiplication of decimals and really small numbers to get, well, really small numbers. All right, the marjoram. Marjoram, thyme, sage are all going to be similar to the parsley, but not quite as complex. All right, so it's 1 teaspoon of parsley. I'm sorry, 1 teaspoon of marjoram, and 1 tablespoon weighs 0.058 ounces. So again, I'm looking for 1 teaspoon. And I know that there are 3 teaspoons in 1 tablespoon. And I know that 1 tablespoon is 0.058 ounces. It's 0.058 divided by 3, which equals 0.019. All right, so the marjoram, 0.019 ounces. The cost. The cost for marjoram is 38 cents a bunch. One bunch weighs 1 ounce. So what can I say? I also know that it's 38 cents a bunch. It's also 38 cents an ounce because 1 ounce is 1 bunch. Divide that by 76%, 0.76, gives me an edible portion cost of 50 cents an ounce times 0.019 ounces, right? And this gives me an even smaller number. It's less than a penny, but it's still a penny. All right, the time, 2 teaspoons, and 1 tablespoon weighs 0.075 ounces. So 2 teaspoons over 1. 3 teaspoons is 1 tablespoon. 1 tablespoon is 0.075. And when I do that out, I get 0.05 ounces. All right, so the time, 0.05 ounces. The cost is 46 cents a bunch. 1 bunch weighs 1 ounce, so it's 46 cents a bunch. It's 46 cents an ounce. Divide that by 0.65. It's me 0.707 per ounce. Cost per ounce, number of ounces, 0.707 times 0.05, 4 cents with the round. The sage. All right, the sage, just like the thyme. Except now it's 1 teaspoon. Again, 3 teaspoons and 1 tablespoon. 1 tablespoon, 0.075 ounces, right, which gives me 0.025 when we're done with it. .025 ounces. Again, 45 cents a bunch. 1 bunch is 1 ounce. 45 cents an ounce. Divided by 60%, 0.60, gives me 75 cents per ounce times 0.025 ounces, 2 cents. All right, the brown rice. Back to a little bit more easier calculations. Brown rice, 6 ounces at $1.25 a pound with 100% yield. Divide by 16, 0.078 per ounce times 6 ounces for a total of 47 cents. Fontina cheese, ounces, pounds, divide by 16, 100% yield, 0.458 per ounce, times 6 ounces. This one's expensive. $2.75 for the Fontina. Mozzarella cheese, 3 ounces at $3.01 per pound divide by 16 ounces, 100% yield, 0.188 an ounce, times 3 ounces for 57 cents. All right, I've calculated, oops, I got one more. I've got eggs. Need 2 eggs. It's an each. Cost per dozen, that's also an each. It's 12 per dozen. Divide by 12 to get my cost per egg, 100% yield, 0.068 cents each, times 2 each, 14 cents for the eggs. All right, at this point, I've done the total cost for each of my 16 ingredients in this recipe. Now I need to find the total recipe cost. All right, so we're just going to go and we're going to go back and we're going to start with the $1.56, right? And we're going to add up each one of the totals. And I will say that it's very easy to get careless and skip an ingredient or punch an ingredient in your calculator twice, so take your time on this. Go back and double check it. Make sure you add it up properly. When you add up all 16 ingredients, you get a total recipe cost of $11.62. All right, total recipe cost is great, but cost per portion is better. So we're going to take that $11.62. All right, and so my portion size is one slice. 2 times 8 is 16. I've got 16 slices. So I'm going to take 11.62 and divide that by the 16 slices that this recipe makes. And when I do that, I get 0.726. All right, so the cost per portion, 0.726, or 73 cents per portion. Selling price. Selling price is calculated by taking your cost per portion divided by your food cost percentage. Right, so selling price equals cost per portion divided by your food cost percentage. So in this case, I'm going to take the 0.726 cost divided by 31.5% as a decimal, which is 0.315. Divide that out, and I get a selling price of $2.31 when I round it. And that is recipe costing. And that's going to conclude Chapter 11 and everything about it.